Get up for breakfast, Jilin. Lin Bei, who was sleeping soundly, suddenly heard a gentle and familiar female voice. Oh, here we come. After rubbing it lightly, Lin Bei reluctantly opened his eyes and stared at the ceiling blankly. Although it had been 3 full days since he had crossed over, he still had a hard time accepting it. Lin Bei was originally just an ordinary basketball fan, and he played basketball often, but since he went to college, his weight suddenly started to increase, and people became less fond of sports, so he could only experience it in 2K games. The charm of basketball. Due to the epidemic in 2020, all walks of life have been affected to varying degrees. For the student party, perhaps that year will be unforgettable. Because, that year's vacation was really too long. Returning to the topic, during the long epidemic, Lin Bei, who was fed up with eating and sleeping at home and living like a pig who slept and eaten, opened an account at a certain point on a whim and started his own, flower, how, like, dang, make, dang, dead, on the street writer's journey. Sure enough, Lin Bei, who has always been 3-minute hot, unexpectedly persisted for a few months, but in the end he was unwilling to cut the NBA mobile koi that he wrote nearly 1 million words. On the night of the book cutting, I called some of my former classmates out for a few drinks. But what is this situation? It can't be just because I cut up the book, so inexplicable time travel. Then, at a certain point, thousands of people will join the time travel army every year. About 5 minutes later, Lin Bei, who got up in a similar mood, put on his clothes and walked straight to the bathroom. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey Tui. In the bathroom, Lin Bei after washing up looked at this unfamiliar yet familiar face in the mirror. His face reappeared with the slightest pain when he first saw this face 3 days ago. After gesturing towards the mirror several times, he reached out and touched his face lightly. After feeling the real feeling of the fingers touching the skin of his face, Lin Bei couldn't help but sighed again. Alas! It seems that all this is indeed true. I never imagined that I would become Wang Jilin. Come on, rely on, rely on. That's right, the original owner of this body was Wang Jilin, the super rookie who averaged 20.3 points and 12.9 rebounds per game when he participated in the CBA League for the first time. Born on January 20, 1994 in Fuzhou, Fujian, Wang Jilin is 214 centimeters tall. His father, Wang Chengai, used to play in the Fujian men's basketball team. Played in women's basketball, and after retirement became a coach, providing basketball instruction to schools and businesses. When both parents were professional basketball players, the man was over 2 meters tall and the woman was over 1.9 meters tall. Wang Jilin, who was born into such a basketball family, naturally inherited the talent of his parents very well. He was taller than 1.7 meters in the 5th grade, joined the Fujian youth team at the age of 14, and was selected to the U-17 national team in 10 years. All of these laid a solid foundation for his subsequent blockbuster in the CBA. Forget it, Wang Jilin is just Wang Jilin. Speaking of which, compared to me, he is a proper winner in life. It had been 3 days since he had passed through, and Lin Bei also slowly accepted his new identity. Don't worry, brother, since you occupy your body, your parents, I will raise them. Although it is said that Lin Bei's first impression of Wang Jilin in later generations is still in the famous emoji, but carefully recalling a series of labels such as CBA regular season MVP, national team member, Fujian team player and owner on Wang Jilin in later generations, Lin Bei felt more and more that he was indeed taking a big advantage. You must know that Lin Bei in his previous life was originally an orphan. Although he successfully completed university through his own efforts, coupled with the help of national policies and social caring people, he was just an ordinary university graduate in the Celestial dynasty. After entering the society, he was still a migrant worker. After all, he was just one of the 886, 996, and 007 groups. On the other hand, Wang Jilin, who became famous at a young age, can only stop at home and cannot enter the NBA because of his own talent, but for more than 90% of ordinary people in the Celestial Dynasty, he can already be said to be a big winner. It's like earning 4 or 5,000 diozi a month, suddenly becoming a big guy who is about to earn millions a year. Lin Bei, oh no, it should be said that Wang Jilin suddenly lowered his head, pulled his trousers open and made a rough gesture. Much bigger than my previous self. Not bad, very man. Just as someone had an indescribable smile on his face, a serious and familiar voice came from the first floor, which immediately startled him and shivered. Comfortable. Wang Jilin, what are you doing? Hurry up and come down for me. The owner of this voice is the royal father Wang Chengai. Oh come. Every boy has a natural reverence for his father, Wang Jilin is no exception, even more than the average child. The athlete-born Wang Chengai and his wife have educated their children in basketball since childhood, and cultivated their son's interest in basketball since childhood. Yu reading www.yuuganju.com. When Wang Jilin was 10 years old, Wang Chengai and his wife took him to the hospital for a bone test. The conclusion was that the child could grow to 2.08 meters. But in fact, it is the most scientific to measure the bone age of children when they are 12 to 13 years old, so they did not expect Wang Jilin to grow to 2.14 meters later. Of course that's something that comes later. After going downstairs, Wang's father had already eaten breakfast and was sitting in the chair reading the newspaper. Wang Jilin glanced at it secretly. The cover was printed with Fuzhou Daily. Dad, I'm going to have breakfast. Wang Jilin's family of 3 is similar to most families in the Celestial Dynasty. They all follow the model of strict parenting and loving kindness. After a brief exchange, he walked towards the dining table. Why does it feel like Jilin is a little taller again? It looks like he is already 2.1 meters tall. Just as Wang Jilin turned around and left, Wang's father quietly raised his head to look at his 17-year-old son. Forget it, let's be high, the child is fine. It was not until Wang Jilin's figure disappeared from his father's eyes that he continued to lower his head and turn his attention to the newspaper in his hand. The Chinese Sturgeon team has 24 losses and 8 wins in the regular season this season, with a winning rate of only 25%, and missed the playoffs inviting foreign teachers and recruiting foreign aid. The team's record is far worse than in previous seasons. Whose fault is this? Sungzing men's basketball team is still very young, their future is still unknown, we should give them more patience. As the main center of the former Fujian men's basketball team, Wang Chengai has a deep love for the Fujian men's basketball team. He wants the team to become better than anyone else. Right now, the development of Fujian men's basketball team seems to be in trouble, and Wang Chengai's brows can't help but wrinkle. Jilin, did you not sleep well last night? Why did you get up so late? After she was seated at the table, her mother Lin Huiking came over with a bowl of noodle paste. You must know that Wang Jilin, who had high expectations from his father since he was a child, had strict requirements for him since he was 10 years old, and he also developed good work and rest habits. The work and rest of my son is obviously not the same as usual these days, so it is no wonder that the Queen Mother has such worries. There is a little bit. Looking at the middle-aged woman in front of her with long black hair, bright eyes and a happy smile on her face, Wang Jilin, who had a ghost in her heart, hurriedly replied. Alas, can I tell her that this dear son in front of you has actually changed to another person inside? As an orphan in his previous life, Wang Jilin felt the warmth brought by his family for the first time, and it also made him more determined. He wants to protect this warmth. Jilin, is it because the competition has been a little too stressful recently, or is there something wrong with training? Hearing her son say this, Emily Lin hurriedly took a chair and sat down. The smile on her face disappeared instantly, and she was greeted by a genuine worry. It's okay Mom, I'm just a little too excited, don't worry too much. Wang Jilin looked at the woman in front of him who was always worried about him, and finally shouted the most sincere Mom. In the past 3 days. Excited? What's so exciting? Although her son's answer was beyond her expectations, she was less worried. I just remembered the few public welfare all-star games at the beginning of the month. It was the first time I faced such a formidable opponent of my age, but your son and I are the best performers, aren't you very happy for me? The public welfare star competition in Wang Jilin's mouth is exactly the public welfare all-star competition of NBL Gansu, the main center of the Olympic team. In those few games, Wang Jilin, who was on the inside, scored 20+ many times, and made great contributions to the victory of the men's basketball team. The NBL All-Star Game this time also made Wang Jilin famous in China, and even some foreign media also noticed this young center from China. All right, Jilin in our family is the best, then you can eat slowly. Your dad and I will go out later for something. After seeing the bright and confident smile on her son's face again, Emily Lin felt relieved and left with a smile. Phew! After taking a deep breath, Wang Jilin set his eyes on the rich breakfast on the table. The first thing that catches the eye is the flour paste, which is the most famous traditional name in Quanzhou, and even appeared in the Heavenly Dynasty on the tip of the tongue. The rest is a male egg, a glass of milk, and of course, the original owner's favorite beef. Cuckoo no, as soon as he saw the steak, Wang Jilin's drooling voice couldn't help but let it out. It seems that the rumor that Wang Jilin's father, Wang Chengai, said in an interview that Wang Jilin can eat up to 2 catties of beef in one meal, and has eaten a dozen cows before the age of 18 is not a fiction. Then, I'm going to start. After Wang Jilin had eaten breakfast, it was already 7:30 and Mom and Dad had already gone out. Jilin, we may not come until evening. There is food in the refrigerator. If you don't want to cook it yourself, you can go out to eat and take care of yourself, Mom. After coming to the living room, Wang Jilin had already noticed the prominent note on the empty table, and the 200 oceans under the note. After putting the note and money in his pocket, Wang Jilin naturally spread out on the sofa, ready to take out his phone to play. Wait, I almost forgot, this is 11 years, where did the pesticide come from? After taking out his flip phone, Wang Jilin suddenly woke up. Actually, I can't blame him. After all, he had a good time in 2020, but suddenly he returned to 2011 and became another person. It is impossible for anyone to adapt to this in just a few days. Looking around the big empty house, Wang Jilin's eyes finally settled on a round sphere next to the shoe rack. Basketball? Yes, it's basketball. Lin Bei, you have to remember that you are no longer the migrant worker in your previous life. Your current name is Wang Jilin. Your future depends on basketball, which can bring you everything. Go. Sao Year. The future is yours. After a while of brainstorming, Wang Jilin stared at the orange basketball in front of him, and his mind was drawn to it. Phew. After taking a deep breath again, Wang Jilin stood up and walked towards the basketball. So small. This is his first feeling after picking up the ball with one hand. Be steadfast. After grabbing the ball with both hands and squeezing it hard, a feeling of solidity emerged from the bottom of my heart. Speaking of which, this is the first time Wang Jilin has had intimate contact with basketball in the 3 days he has passed through. It's completely different from the feeling this contact gave him, and the feeling he felt when he grabbed the ball. Author June, don't you talk nonsense? You were only 1.7 meters in your last life, but in this life you will be 2.1 meters in size. Can it be the same? Although he is very clear about the heights he can reach in the future, he is not the Wang Jilin he used to be after all. He asked himself, he didn't know if he could still reach the height that Wang Jilin could reach in his previous life. After all, for a successful professional basketball player, the hard work and sweat behind him is definitely beyond what ordinary people can imagine. To put it bluntly, this Wang Jilin is just an ordinary sand sculpture netizen in a fat house. Although the thief usually likes to shout "I can get on me" on the internet, but when he really recklessly crosses over like this, and does not have any necessary systems for travelers, he will inevitably be a little confused about the future. In the first day or two, Wang Jilin had not imagined that he would definitely have the necessary systems, golden fingers, plugins and other travel benefits for travelers. But it's already the fourth day. As the old saying goes, there are no more than 3 things. Forget it, even if there is no time travel welfare, I don't believe that I am inferior to the original body. Wang Jilin, who knew that the future belonged to the era of small balls, basically made sure that he did not have cross-travel benefits, so he also gave himself a rough future development direction. 1. The defensive ability is not required to be strong, at least it must reach the average level of the NBA. Second, it is best to have a good passing ability. 3. 3-points must be practiced well. In the small ball era, without a 3-pointer that can pull out the space, it is impossible to survive. Don't you see Howard, who was known as a rough guy in the first and middle stages of his career, and also practiced an objective 3-pointer during the Lakers period? I don't know anything else, but Wang Jilin firmly believes that his shooting talent must be stronger than that of Howard. After all, the big players produced by the Chinese dynasty are all known for their excellent shooting touch, speaking of which, it is thanks to Chairman Yao. The so-called how daring people are, how productive is the land. The traversers naturally have their own pride, which comes from the obsession in their hearts. Since God gave Wang Jilin such a great opportunity, he actually had to seize it. The realistic idea is, no matter how good the CBA is, the maximum salary for local players is the annual salary of 8 million yuan, while in the NBA, as long as you can stand firm and rely on the Chinese market, Wang Jilin feels that he is not worth it. You can't hit $1 million annual salary. Come on, Cao Nian, you must work hard to look at money. After changing into the training uniform, Wang Jilin came with a basketball, and Yu Kanshu www.yuyuganshu.com went to his basketball court. Yes, it belongs to my own house, although it is only half a piece. This also made him have to sigh that he had lived in vain in his previous life. He worked hard year after year, and when he was almost 30, he was barely able to pay for a set of more than 80 square meters in the city of Kali, his hometown. Down payment on the house. Let's look at others, the gap, it's simply. Everything's gone, a few romantic figures, let's look at the present. After reciting Kai Nguyen Chun, Snow by a librarian in his heart and feeling the imperial spirit in his heart, a fire in Wang Jilin's chest suddenly ignited. Although there is only half of the field, its specifications are definitely in line with the CBA standard, which is the international arena standard. Well, let's have a quick meal first. Cough cough, buckle up first. Looking at the basket in front of him, Wang Jilin suddenly remembered that in his last life plus 3 days in this life, it seemed that he had never dunked once. A small basket on the primary school grounds does not count. Gan is Gan. First, he dribbled the ball a few times on the spot, and after feeling the familiar feeling brought by the muscle memory of the original body, Wang Jilin accelerated and rushed straight to the basket. Dunk. He wants to use this dunk to put an end to his past and present life. At the moment of taking off, Wang Jilin had already begun to imagine the close contact between his hands and the basket. He's about to deduct. It has been detected that the host has obtained key items, and the clothing, venue, and mood all meet the triggering conditions. The veteran inheritance system is being bound. Fuck Wang Jilin, who was in the air, was so frightened that the basketball he held tightly in his hand instantly let go and slammed into the backboard. What was that thing just now? After landing, Wang Jilin shook his head, suspecting that he might have seen a ghost and had auditory hallucinations. Bum, where's the ghost? Don't scare yourself, the librarian has already said that after the founding of the People's Republic of China, it is forbidden to become an elite. However, having said that, I have encountered such a thing as time travel. It's not incomprehensible if there are ghosts. The veteran inheritance system has been bound, does the host start the system? Just when Wang Jilin was suspicious, the electronically synthesized sound just now resounded in his mind again. Who the RUTM? There's a way to go head-to-head. Wang Jilin was furious. The veteran inheritance system has been bound, does the host start the system? When the electronically synthesized sound in his mind was repeated over and over again, Wang Jilin suddenly woke up. Wait, system? Phew. Calm down. Calm down. Remember, we are an excellent successor of socialism, and we have the 24-character mantra to protect our body. Start. Wang Jilin finally forced himself to calm down and whispered tremblingly. The password has been received. System startup is complete. Scanning the host's physical fitness and comprehensive skills. Name, Lin Bei/Wang Jilin, by default, Wang Jilin, age, 17 position, center height, 210 centimeters weight, 105 kilograms. I specially checked the player information of the Fujian team in 2012. It shows that Wang Jilin is 2.14 meters tall and weighs 100 kilograms. Let's give him a physical weight gain here. Arm span, 214 centimeters. Body hidden attributes: lower body strength, 60 upper body strength, 49 agility, 51 bounce, 45 physical fitness, 47 injury resistance, 45 offensive ability hits, 36 layups, 58 mid-range, 44 long-range, 25 dunks, 51 passes, 32 ball possession, 45 free throws, 55 defensive ability: external defense, 25 internal defense, 31 rebounds, 51 blocks, 38 steals, 25 overall rating, 43, a total of 19 individual ability values. The lower limit is 25, and the upper limit is 99. A picture similar to the 2K player's numerical panel suddenly came into view, and he immediately exclaimed, "Long pose." I knew that, as a standard for traversers, the traversal welfare that belongs to us will be late, but it will definitely come. Isn't this coming? After the surprise, the ability value analysis chart displayed by the system in his mind made Wang Jilin's mood drop to the bottom. The highest is the lower body strength attribute, with a score of 60. It seems that it is not low, but it is seriously unqualified for inside players. Especially for center players, strength is definitely their top priority. Although Wang Jilin is only 17 years old now, it stands to reason that there is still room for improvement, but the room for improvement is definitely not large. This is estimated to be one of the major reasons why later generations restrained Wang Jilin from entering the NBA. Continue to look down. With a height of 210 centimeters and a wingspan of 214 centimeters, it should be said that it is a domestic Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it is a match for Griffin's wingspan talent. But then again, being able to compete with the dignified NBA number 1 pick in talent is quite a sense of accomplishment when you think about it. I can't look at it any longer. If I look at it any longer, someone's face will turn black like a lump of carbon. According to the system, the lower limit of a player's individual ability value is 25 and the upper limit is 99, so his own steals, outside defense and long shots are the worst in the NBA. According to the in-depth analysis of the system, the host's stealing, external defense, and long-range shooting do not actually reach the lower limit of 25, so your single weak ability value is additionally strengthened. I trademark. Feelings, I am still the object of poverty alleviation. Who do you look down on? Wait, how do you guys know what I'm thinking? The system is rooted in the soul of the host and can communicate with you in mind. Of course, you can also choose language to communicate. The cold electronic synthesis sounded again. Okay, you're a high-tech person, but I'm short-sighted. Wang Jilin replied speechlessly, and then asked, then can I block communication with you? Now that he knows that he can communicate with his mind, he is not foolish enough to scoff at the air, which seems a little too neurotic to outsiders. Can. Okay, then can I ask you where this system came from? Did you get my inexplicable time travel? Can I go back? Soon, Wang Jilin threw away all the doubts in his mind. Come out. This question cannot be answered. This question cannot be answered. Is this B system a little too low-end? It stuck for a while when it was turned on just now. Now I just asked a few questions, but it got stuck again. Then let's change the question. What function and role does your system have? How can it help me? This system has two major sections, the personal panel and the lottery panel. Please check the detailed functions by the host. GAN. It's really low-end. Look at other people's systems. They all swish all the information into the host's mind. Why is it my turn to see it myself? Although his heart is full of speechlessness and complaints, Wang Jilin knows that in the future he wants to land in the NBA, marry Bai Fumei, become the darling of the times, and set foot on the pinnacle of life, and it is estimated that he will have to rely on this stupid system. After taking a detailed look around, Wang Jilin has clearly understood the role of the personal panel and the lottery panel. The personal panel is the ability analysis chart shown just now. Of course, you can also check the ability attributes of other players through this panel. Easy to understand. As for the lottery panel, there are 5 levels of rewards, namely bronze, black iron, silver, gold, and purple diamonds. Seeing this, Wang Jilin said it was unreasonable. Shouldn't it be the golden legend at the end? Why put gay purple at the end? Do you look down on my golden legend? It is not known that this is the first time Wang Jilin has complained about this stupid system. If you want to draw a lottery, this involves one thing: the heat value. According to the system, the heat value refers to the number and degree of attention of the general public to the host. The host can draw a lottery by obtaining the heat value, so as to get the player card, and finally inherit the ability and talent of the corresponding player. Bronze level lottery, 10,000 heat points are required for a lottery. The upper limit of the player's ability score is 60, and the host can only specify one single ability value of the opponent to be drawn. Black iron level lottery, 100,000. The upper limit of the player's ability score is 70, and the host can specify 3 individual ability points to draw. Silver level lottery, 1 million. The upper limit of the player's ability score is 80, and the host can specify 6 individual ability points to draw. Gold level lottery, 10 million. The upper limit of the player's ability is 90, and the host can specify 12 individual ability points plus 1 talent. Purple diamond lucky draw, 100 million. All the abilities and talents of the player card are inherited. WDNMD. Seeing the heat value required for the gold level lottery and the purple diamond level lottery, Wang Jilin felt a chill in his heart. 10 million is outrageous enough. How can there be another 100 million? You are so NB, why don't you go to heaven? Wait, the system, if there are some people who often follow me, but they don't like me, can these groups provide me with popularity? Wang Jilin suddenly felt that the popularity value had lowered the fan value. UU reading www.yuyuganshu.com is only divided into fans and black fans, and passers-by. Later, there was a saying, black and red are also red. But I just don't know if this stupid system recognizes it. I am most afraid of the sudden silence in the air. Wang Jilin felt that the dumb system seemed to be stuck. After checking, the system heat value rules have been changed as follows. Heat value can only be generated by people who pay attention to and love the host, and cannot be generated by people who hate the host. What is this? Did you shoot yourself in the foot? In an instant, Wang Jilin's heart was no longer frozen, but shattered into countless pieces. Originally, the popularity value is difficult to get. Why do you like to break your mouth so much? Are you saying you are cheap? At this moment, he could not wait to slap his 2 big mouths directly. No, I don't agree. I'm going to rant. System, in this case, it's better to change the popularity value directly to the fan value. What is the popularity value? It doesn't live up to the name. After another silence, the cold electronic synthesis voice finally spoke. After checking, the proposal is reasonable, and the heat value will be changed to the fan value. I trademark. Just when Wang Jilin was about to continue scolding his mother, the system of Stay B suddenly said, since the host has discovered a bug in the system has been successfully upgraded. The upgrade time will take 3 minutes. Please leave the host temporarily. After the upgrade is successful, an additional compensation package will be sent. Without waiting for Wang Jilin to think about it, the system panel that was clear in his eyes disappeared without a trace. Asterisk. Asterisk, mentally retarded. On the occasion of the system update, Wang Jilin finally got the opportunity to successfully try a few dunks, including Duncan, the Flying Devil, who resounded through the NBA's stunt, slam dunk. After several dunks, he also had to admit that although his bounce was not at the level of a matchbox, it was at most the level of a brick. It stood upright. This is someone's last stubbornness. D. The system has been upgraded successfully. Does the host start the system? The tired and cold electronic synthesis sound finally reverberated in his mind, and Wang Jilin's uneasy mood was calmed down. Start up. He was actually a little worried that the dumb system would run away just now, but fortunately it didn't disappoint him. Sure enough, a host like him with the handsome appearance of a master reader is definitely something that can be met but not sought after. The system dad really is the one who loves me, Nyaxin. The compensation spree reward has been sent. Please claim the host in time. If you don't claim it within 30 days, it will be automatically destroyed. Just kidding, why don't you get it? Open it. As soon as he came in, Wang Jilin was almost blinded by a big purple gift bag. However, this rule that if you don't receive a gift package for 30 days will be automatically destroyed, I seem to have seen it somewhere. Before he could think about it, the gift bag was already opened. In view of the timely discovery of system bugs by the host, we have specially given a chance to draw a prize at the purple diamond level. I hope the host will make persistent efforts and continue to dig out the bugs within the system. At this moment, Wang Jilin's heart was no longer ice cold, but rather, it was warm. At this time, he just wanted to sing a song. Today is a good day. Sing a song to bless you. The ups and downs of life were simply too exciting, and he couldn't help but want to pee. Then what are you waiting for? If you don't smoke at this time, when will you wait? After switching to the lottery panel, Wang Jilin was surprised to find that in addition to the entire lottery panel turning purple, there was a number in the middle, 1. It seems to mean that a lottery can be held. However, his eyes focused on the row of numbers at the top right of the lottery panel, 14,588. You are my father. What the hell? The system will explain it. What does the number of amino acids mean? This row of numbers reminds Wang Jilin of the advantage he was taken by his roommates when he was young and ignorant. He still doesn't want to look back on that dark history. Facing the hosts full of black lines, the system said, this is the total number of fans the host currently has. It's quite meaningful. Considering that he is only 17 years old now, his influence is estimated to be within the area of Quanzhou City, and Dingtian is the locality of Fujian. Apart from knowing that he has produced such a talented player, fans in other places may not know much about him. Therefore, his fan value of 14,588 is still acceptable. After forcing himself to ignore the row of numbers, Wang Jilin turned his attention to the round purple turntable in front of him. This turntable is very much like a promotion in a supermarket, where a lottery can be drawn after spending a certain amount. Although this turntable is divided into 8 small pieces, the positions occupied by each small piece are of average size, which means that no matter who you draw, you have to be convinced. True 1/8 probability. But what made Wang Jilin feel the most conscience was that the words "thank you for your patronage" did not appear in these 8 subsections. Yes, you heard right, actually, really, there is no thank you for reviewing. The conscience of heaven and earth. But after a closer look, he began to realize that something was wrong. System, why are all the players that can be drawn for me to be inside players? No. Look who is on the lottery board. Kareem. O'Neal. Olajuwon. Chamberlain. Basically, it can be said that the top 10 centers in NBA history have all come together, except for Duncan, the first power forward in history. But if I really want to investigate, dumb dude, he has played the center position for a long time in his entire career, and it is acceptable to be placed in the pile of super centers. Duan said, just kidding, you guys can't tell who is the best center in history, but I am recognized as the best power forward in history, okay? This is called platooning. Since the host mainly plays the center position, there are many stars in the center position, and of course there are also some stars in the power forward position. What you said is very reasonable, but I am speechless. Okay, let's start the lottery. After the order was given, the lottery turntable immediately rotated clockwise, and the speed became faster and faster. After just a few seconds, Wang Jilin couldn't see the contents of the turntable completely. Wang Jilin, who was directly awarded the Purple Diamond Superstar card in the first lottery, closed his eyes nervously for a while. After meditating in his heart for 20 seconds, he thought that it should be almost over, and then slowly opened his eyes. Oh no, the system, why are you still turning it? After opening his eyes, he was still greeted by a blurred purple turntable. The host needs to call a pause before the lottery draw can end, otherwise the turntable will always be running. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? Host, you never asked this question. After a foolish chat, Wang Jilin decided to end it all. How many floors does a bag of rice carry? Shen Luo Tianzheng. Stop. At this moment, Wang Jilin can be described as with an antenna in his mouth, and his words follow the law. With an order, a lifelike purple dragon suddenly appeared in the middle of the turntable and rushed towards him. Don't come here. Before he could say the words in his heart, the purple dragon had turned into a purple card and floated lightly on his chest. For the special effects of the dragon, please refer to the golden dragon in the movie Armored Warrior Emperor Xia. Cards refer to sealing magic cards. Gorgeous. After giving a brief but relatively objective evaluation, Wang Jilin took the card that was still spinning and jumping directly in front of his chest in his hand, and took a closer look. Hey, why is the front green? Superstar card, Shaquille O'Neal, 1011 season version, age, 38 position, center height, 216 centimeters weight, 155 kilograms, in the twilight of life, the body is not properly managed, arm span, 231 centimeters standing touch height, 287 centimeters palm, 27.9 centimeters body hidden attributes lower body strength, 95 upper body strength, 91 agility, 57 bounce, 50 physical fitness, 55 injury resistance, 81 explosive power, 65 speed, 32 offensive ability hits, 76 layups, 78 mid-range, 35 long-range, 25 dunks, 70 passes, 40 ball possession, 51 free throws, 55 breakthrough, 46 defensive ability external defense, 30 internal defense, 62 rebounds, 51 blocks, 60 steals, 45 comprehensive rating, 65, qualified substitute player. UU reading www.uuganshu.com can still play a miraculous effect when necessary. Evaluation, Shaquille O'Neal, in his twilight years, can still get 9.2 points, 4.8 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, 0.7 steals and 0.4 assists even though he only played 20 minutes per game. Although there is still fuel in the fuel tank of this big diesel engine, but the pride of the superstar made him not allow himself to be kicked around like a ball by others, and finally resolutely chose to make a short and decisive farewell. Talent skills, innate power, Purple Diamond. This talent allows the player to naturally have a maximum strength attribute value of 99. Note, the host can pass acquired training and have a max strength attribute value. Dunk Tianzun. Silver. Use the body to force the dunk to slam into the dunk, slightly increase the dunk success rate, and improve the dunk attribute 4. If the dunk is successful, it will have an encouraging effect on teammates and restore teammates' physical strength by 5%. Feeling. This is Shaquille O'Neal during the green shirts. Wait, I remember what was written in the system. Isn't this a Purple Diamond Superstar card? The upper limit of the rating is 99. Why did you get me a big green shark with a rating of only 64? Wang Jilin expresses his deep condemnation for this act of deceiving customers. First of all, this system is a veteran inheritance system. As the name suggests, the player cards drawn are those in the later stages of their careers or even their twilight years. Secondly, please check the rules of the lottery by yourself. After you draw a player card, you can inherit the ability and talent of the player card. The Superstar card states that the upper limit of the ability score is 99, not the upper limit of the comprehensive score. Dumbfounded. Well, you are the boss and you have the final say. After getting the official answer, Wang Jilin could only accept this result. O'Neal in his twilight years, why can't he be O'Neal in the period of the night and the sun, alas. Although the Celtics version of O'Neal is still an unattainable existence to the current Wang Jilin. But thinking about it this way, he still felt a little unwilling in his heart because he had the opportunity to get the 12 plus 10, 17 plus 8 period O'Neal like the Suns and Cavaliers. Human nature, after all, is greed. Who wouldn't want to get more? After putting away his mind, O'Neal's Superstar card still shocked Wang Jilin's heart. Lower body strength 92. Upper body strength 88. Layup 86. Mine, it's all mine. Although this is the last year of Shaquille O'Neal's career, his ability value can still be said to have completely covered Wang Jilin. Except for the speed attribute, which is 8 points more than O'Neal in his twilight years, and 9 points more in the midrange shooting attribute, in the rest of his abilities, he is not comparable to the latter. Doesn't that mean that O'Neal, who is 21 years older than himself, wants to beat his 17-year-old self, which can be described as simply as hitting his son? To paraphrase Uncle Benchen's words, I really feel sad for you. System. Why does O'Neal's injury resistance attribute reach 81? This is obviously unreasonable. Even if O'Neal's free throw ability is 55 like his own, Wang Jilin also recognizes it. This guy's free throw percentage is still solidly over 50%, and his career high season is up to 62%. But for O'Neal's injury resistance attribute, it is almost double his own. This is something he can't bear. After checking, until the end of Shaquille O'Neal's career, he has never suffered any devastating injuries in his entire career. One is because O'Neal habitually pretends to be dead in the regular season and exerts his strength in the playoffs, and the other is that he is good at use your own strength and weight to play the ball, simplify your movements to avoid unnecessary physical wear, and the third is that people are talented. I don't know if he heard it wrong. He always felt that when the system said that O'Neal was talented, the decibel was obviously much higher than before. Wang Jilin scratched his head, feeling that what the system said indeed had some truth. In this impression, this big shark basically raises a dozen games every year, or even more. It can be said that he sacrificed his regular season honor in exchange for his extraordinary career in the center position and god-level performance in the playoffs. Otherwise, with the dominance of the Sharks, how could there be only a mere regular MVP? Obviously, people's eyes look farther than most people. It is indeed a rare high-educated talent in the NBA. If I remember correctly, they will also receive a doctorate in human resources from Barry University in May next year. Tisk tisk. System, how do I inherit the ability of this card? After the host switches to the personal panel, just put the corresponding Superstar card on your profile picture. When he put this O'Neal Superstar card on his avatar, he saw that the card instantly turned into a little purple on and slowly merged into the avatar. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining the Superstar card. You can choose to inherit all the abilities and talents of Shaquille O'Neal, versions 1011, or designate a certain part. I can also specify a certain part. Interesting. Excluding the 4 attributes of speed, mid-range, long-range, and free throws, I want all the remaining abilities and talents. As you. And many more. Wang Jilin suddenly thought, it seems that height, weight, wingspan, touch height, etc. have not yet made it clear whether he can inherit it or not. If he could inherit it, then he would probably be able to discard the title of Domestic Tyrannosaurus Rex. After all, O'Neal's static physical talent is also of historical level. Just talking about the wingspan, if Jellyfen can have the talent of the wingspan of O'Neal, then he will not stop at the all-star in his career, and cannot become a superstar in the true sense. Can I inherit O'Neal's height and wingspan? After saying this, Wang Jilin couldn't help swallowing. No way, who made the meat of this big shark really too greedy? It can be inherited. After being silent for a while, the system finally gave an answer. After Wang Jilin recognized it for 0.0001 seconds, he immediately burst into laughter, ah ha 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 ha. After a while, he calmed down again, and asked again tentatively, System, can I selectively inherit part of O'Neal's weight? System, you are currently holding the most precious superstar card, of course. Yes. Yes. In the end, after some deliberation, Wang Jilin chose to become a 130 kilograms version of a small shark. Now that he knows that the future of basketball will be the era of small balls, he naturally has to protect his precious ankles. You must know that as of 2020, when you pass through, the heaviest player in the NBA is Boban, who is 2.31 meters tall. This guy weighs 132 kilograms. Ranked second is Zion Williamson, a basketball genius known as a once-in-a-century basketball genius. Zion, who is 2.01 meters tall, weighs 129 kilograms. I don't know how he has so much flesh hanging on his body, how he completed the free throw line jumping and dunking, it's really a wonderful flower. But when I think of my 130 kilograms weight, in the small ball era, I definitely deserve to be a prehistoric beast, not to mention that theoretically I can train to the upper limit of 99 strength through the day after tomorrow. Just when Wang Jilin was hanging on everything in the small ball era, the personal attribute panel appeared again. UU reading www.uuganshu.com name, Wang Jilin affiliated team, Fujian Men's Basketball Youth Team / Tianqiao National Men's Basketball Youth Team H, 17 position, center height, 212 centimeters weight, 112 kilograms arm span, 227 centimeters palm, 27.9 centimeters body hidden attributes lower body strength, 66 upper body strength, 60 speed, 40 power, 47 agility, 52 bounce, 45 bullet speed, 45 physical fitness, 49 injury resistance, 58 offensive ability hits, 51 layups, 62 mid-range, 44 long-range, 25 dunks, 55 passes, 33 ball possession, 46 free throws, 55 breakthrough, 33 defensive ability external defense, 25 internal defense, 38 rebounds, 43 blocks, 45 steals, 33 comprehensive score, 52, CBA foreign aid level, evaluation, although he is young, he has huge potential. It is not recommended to enter the NBA at present, and he still needs a certain amount of time to hone. Talent skills, innate power, purple diamond, this talent allows the host to have MS level strength attributes through acquired training. Dunk Tianzun, silver plus, after making physical contact with the opponent's player within 3 seconds, use your body to force a dunk to slam the dunk to slightly increase the success rate of the dunk. The 3 attributes of dunk, bounce, and bounce speed can all be increased by 4 points within 3 seconds. If the player completes the dunk, he will give teammates an inspirational effect and restores teammates' stamina by 5%. Through the feedback of the system, Wang Jilin also understands that the ability of this O'Neal Superstar card does not take effect immediately, but is integrated in the order of easy and difficult. First of all, the integration of static physical talents such as height, wingspan, and weight is the fastest. The rest, such as strength, jumping, and explosiveness, will require a period of running-in period for the integration of dynamic physical talents and various ability values. According to the system, a player card of the same level of strength can be quickly transformed into one's own strength, and it can even be said that it takes effect immediately after use. For example, if he now draws a bronze-level player card, the corresponding player's ability value will be inherited to himself immediately. And if it is a black iron player card, it will take a certain amount of time, depending on the individual ability. 6069, it will take a week to a month. Silver level only takes 1-3 months, gold urgently needs 3-6 months, and the most powerful purple diamond card takes about a year. Of course, Wang Jilin can also speed up the fusion efficiency through his own training. To put it bluntly, although the system can make him stronger, it is only an auxiliary tool after all. If you really want to set foot on the peak and appreciate the scenery above, you still cannot do without your own efforts. System, what does the and sign behind the talent of dunking Tianzun mean? Is it possible that you can upgrade it? That's right. Shaquille O'Neal at his peak had a full range of innate powers: purple diamonds, dunks, purple diamonds, terminators, purple diamonds, fighters, gold, and restricted areas. Overlord, gold level, has a total of 5 talent skills, but in addition to the unique innate divine power, the remaining 4 talents are almost dissipated. If after retirement, the silver level dunk Tianzun will also disappear. The host can be improved through the fan value, including the talent level of Tianzun, and the upper limit can be restored to the purple diamond level. 5 or 5 talents, is this Nima a monster? Just being a natural power and dunking Tianzun has already made Wang Jilin yearn for the historically supergiant strength of O'Neal at his peak. But the cruel reality told him that he still underestimated these animals. Wait, does that mean that the current number 1 player in the NBA, Lao Beijing, that guy also has talent and skills? Suddenly, Wang Jilin felt that he had discovered something extraordinary. Your guess? That's right. After a brief shock, Wang Jilin was more excited. This was an unyielding fighting spirit that came from the depths of a man's heart. As early as thousands of years ago, our ancestors told us that the princes and generals have a seed. He didn't believe it anymore. With the blessing of a plugin, he would still be unable to do the old Beijing, primary school students, and migrant workers. One Twilight O'Neal won't work, then I'll add another Twilight Olajuwon, Twilight Kareem. He believes that one day, the top 10 centers in history will be gathered here. At that time, he will not be the 6 gods, but the 10 gods. Who is afraid of who? Anyway, the bottom line can be divided equally. After regaining his self-confidence, Wang Jilin put his eyes on the plus sign behind the dunks Tianzun skill. He didn't think much about it, so he just clicked on it. D. Talent skills, silver level dunk Tianzun to gold level, the required fan value is 5 million, the current fan value is not enough, please make persistent efforts. 5 million fans can satisfy half of the gold level lottery. Excuse me. He switched to the lottery panel again, this time the entire panel turned white, referred to as the whiteboard. Looking at the string of numbers on the top right of the whiteboard, 14,588, the black history in my mind resurfaced. System, I want to conduct a bronze level lottery. The current fan value is available for a bronze lottery, please choose whether to run it. Yes. Although the owner did this lottery, part of the reason was because he was not used to the string of numbers, but more of it was because he was interested in betting on the dog again. Unexpectedly, the turntable turned bronze this time. It seems that all levels of lottery draws have their own colors. Stop. Wong wong wong. Underscore. Why is there such a big difference in the special effects between the purple diamond and bronze levels? The former is a dragon and the latter is a dog. It turns out that the chain of contempt is really everywhere. System, you really disappointed me. Player card, Maris Spitz, 2018-2019 edition, Team, CBA Guangzhou Long Lions age, 31 position, center height, 208 cm weight, 125 kg arm span, 217 cm body hidden attributes lower body strength, 35 upper body strength, 32 speed, 51 power, 40 agility, 48 bounce 41 bullet speed, 35 physical fitness, 50 injury resistance, 52 offensive ability hits, 44 layups, 50 midrange, 55 long range, 58 dunk, 45 pass, 40 possession, 50 free throws, 52 breakthrough, 36 defensive ability external defense, 25 internal defense, 28 rebounds, 35 blocks, 30 steals, 33 overall rating, 55, CBA Superstar, Evaluation, a typical space-based insider in the small ball era, with good mid to long range shooting ability, but a very weak sense of presence on the defensive end. Come on, for this black player who has no impression in his mind at all, after reading his export ability and the evaluation given by the system, he probably knows what type of player he is. Attacking with 2 knives, defending against 10,000 stabs. Cheap is not good, the ancients don't deceive me. After feeling the impact of the superstar card, Wang Jilin couldn't be interested in the mere bronze card. The bronze card with only practical dog special effects is really a bronze dog. Although he looks disgusted on the surface, some attributes of malice spite still make Wang Jilin shine. With 55 midrange shots and 58 long shots, this really depends entirely on shooting. However, it will soon be cheaper for me. He also went to the system to learn about this guy's data on the Guangzhou Long Lions. He played 29 games, started 14 games, played 31.8 minutes, and averaged 22.7 points and 7.4 rebounds per game. Averaged 7.9 of 19 shots, including 3-pointers, 8.7 shots per game and 3.1 shots per game, accounting for almost half of the shots. Don't look at Malice Spitz averaging 7.4 rebounds per game, but only 6.1 defensive rebounds and only 1.3 offensive rebounds. It's no wonder that the final rebounding ability is only 35. After the bronze player card is drawn, the host can designate to inherit any of its abilities. Please choose. Is it still worth considering? I choose 3 points. The value of this guy is basically beyond his imagination except for shooting. My midrange shooting ability at 44 is not too low. As long as I practice more, it is only a matter of time before I reach 50. Instead, it is the long-range shooting ability that can be regarded as the lowest 25. For older basketball players like his father, Wang Chengai, the task of a center is to sit under the basket, and his offensive methods are mainly focused on dunks, hooks, or mid-range and short-range jumpers. As for the 3 points, sorry, we don't practice this at all. But now that he knows that the future is a small ball era with 3-pointers as the main theme, Wang Jilin is of course obliged to choose 3-pointers. The ability extraction is complete, and the host's current remaining fan value is 4,588. Please make persistent efforts. After calling up the personal panel this time, he has seen that his 3-point ability has become 58, and the total evaluation has also changed from 52 to 56, and the word CBA Superstar that he noticed just now is also behind the score. After the lottery was over, Wang Jilin closed the system panel, grabbed the basketball that fell to the ground, and looked at the basket in front of him with high fighting spirit. This time, Wang Jilin didn't play dunk again, because he wanted to try a 3-pointer. If someone notices this scene now, it will definitely feel very strange. A 2.1 meter large center does not enter the inside line, but stands outside the 3-point line, ready to shoot a three-pointer. It is absolutely incomprehensible and unforgivable in this era. One is that the space-based inside line has not been flooded as much as it was later, but the last representative of the traditional center, Dwight Howard, is still the first center in the league, so the atmosphere of the entire league has not undergone a substantial change. Phew! After taking a deep breath habitually, Wang Zelin's eyes were fixed on the basket in front of him. The calf exerted force, and after lifting the ball above the head, the body naturally stretched, and with a flick of the finger, the ball was thrown, and the basketball drew a beautiful arc as if a locator was installed. The sound of bang hit the neck of the basket. Superior. Awkward? That doesn't exist. Wang Zelin's brows tensed at first, but soon relaxed again. Although the three-pointer ability has suddenly increased to 58, this is after all the first three-pointer in his life. It is normal not to make it. After running over to pick up the ball with a cold expression, he continued to drive it beyond the three-point line. Clap clap clap. Clap clap slap. The sound of hammering iron continued to reverberate in this field, occasionally mixed with a few swoosh sounds. In the blink of an eye, it was already 12 noon, and Wang Zilin had been practicing for 4 hours. It's not just about three-pointers, mid-range shots, and basket hooks. There are exercises. Of course, the most practiced is dunking. A boy who has never dunked can never imagine the feeling of refreshment after dunking for the first time. If you dunk too many dunks, you will become addicted. This reminded him that when he first came into contact with the 2K game, he deliberately bought a Jordan dunk bag with huge sums of money, 588 Ocean, and then played an afternoon of free-throw dunks in the game's training camp. Woman, never ask your boyfriend, who is more important to the game and me. Once you ask this sentence, the answer has already been revealed. This is the personal experience of a friend of his. Wang Zelin, who was at home alone, didn't want to be too troublesome, so he cooked some noodles at noon and just finished his meal. By 7:30 in the evening, Wang Chengai and his wife had already returned and made a sumptuous dinner. Come on, Zelin, this is your favorite fried beef, come and try it, how does it taste? After bringing the last dish of home-cooked beef to the table, Wang Ma immediately added a piece of beef tenderloin and put it in Wang Jilin's bowl. Mom, don't I know your craftsmanship? I don't even need to taste it. Just by smelling it, I know it's delicious. That's what he said, but Wang Zelin still couldn't control his hands and threw the beef tenderloin from the bowl into his mouth. It's really fragrant. As soon as the beef was in his mouth, he chewed it slightly. The tenderness was beyond his imagination. However, after chewing carefully, he realized that the beef was tender but not sturdy, and an unusually refreshing feeling immediately spread throughout his body. Eat more if it's fragrant. A child's compliment is always what every mother in the world wants to hear, and this is the greatest encouragement to them. Seeing this scene, the king's father on the side also smiled lightly and said, Huiking, do you think that this child Zelin seems to be a little taller than before? Hey, I didn't pay attention unless you said it, but just at a glance, this child is indeed going to be a little taller. As former professional basketball players, Wang Chengai and his wife are still very sensitive to the issue of height. After a little observation of the matter between the two, they roughly guessed that their son has become taller again. Woohoo, I just measured it in the afternoon. If I don't wear shoes now, my height is already 2.11 meters. If I wear shoes, it's almost 2.14 meters. When I saw my parents discussing my height, I didn't care about the beef in my mouth, so I directly reported my current height. 2.11 meters. Pharaoh, this is different from what we got when we performed bone-groping operations on him back then. The Queen Mother said with some worry. Facing his wife's concerns, the father smiled and said, Don't worry, I checked before, and the most suitable period for teenagers to do mushroom surgery is actually around 12 or 3 years old. We were 2 days earlier at that time. There was an error. Then will our son continue to grow like this? Although her husband had already explained it, she was still a little worried. Don't worry, although there is a deviation from the original result of 2.08 meters, Kobayashi can only reach 2.15 meters at most, which does not affect his playing. That's good. That's good. Okay, Dad, Mom, don't worry about it. I don't know my own body yet. I'm fine, we're going to eat soon, otherwise, the food will be cold. In the blink of an eye, it was 8 o'clock, and the family of 3 had finished their dinner and sat neatly in the living room. What's wrong, Zelen, what's the matter? Seeing his son's hesitant expression, the king's father took the initiative to speak. As a parent, no one can know their son better than the two of them. Although they are optimistic and cheerful on weekdays, as long as there are some things in their hearts, they will immediately become hesitant. Dad, I want to play CBA. After hearing his father speak first, Wang Zelen seemed to be relieved, then raised his head to look into his father's eyes, and said what was in his heart. What? When the Queen Mother on the side heard it, she looked over in surprise. Can you tell me, when did you come up with this idea? Although the father was a little surprised, he had long expected that such a day would come, but he just didn't expect it to be so early. Actually, since the last few All-Star Public Welfare Games, I have been born with this idea, said Wang Zelen, subconsciously clenched his right fist. Among my peers, there are not many people who can help me. I'm under pressure and I want to be on a bigger stage and compete with stronger opponents. But you're only 17 years old. Yao Ming joined the Sharks at the age of 17, and Yi Jianlian joined Guangdong Hongyuan at the age of 16. Dad, I don't think your son and I will be worse than them. Wang Zelen's remarks completely reflected Wang Chenggai's next words. Blocked. But... When the Queen Mother on the side saw this scene, she looked left and right, and was so anxious that she was speechless. Dad, Mom, please believe me, my goal is the NBA, so I need a bigger challenge. Looking at this son who suddenly became a little strange, Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com. Wang Chengai was silent, but what followed in his heart was more joy. Because, through the high fighting spirit and firm determination conveyed by Wang Zelen's eyes, he understands that when his son has grown up, he will make decisions for himself. After being silent for a long time, Wang Chengai suddenly turned his head and looked at his wife, then turned his head and said with a serious face, "If this is your choice, then go." "Thank you, Dad." Just when Wang Zelen was excited, Wang Chengai spoke. "But you have to remember that you are a man. The most important thing for a man is to be responsible. Since you have made a choice, you must keep going. I don't want you to regret it one day." "No problem." At this moment, he almost roared. That night, Wang Zelen was so excited that he slowly fell asleep at 3:30 in the middle of the night. And in a room not too far away, through the crack of the door, you can faintly see the lights inside. "Pharaoh, why do you think Zelen suddenly had the idea to play the CBA? He's still a child." "Pharaoh, you're talking." Lin Emily, who couldn't sleep, tossed and turned, kicked her husband beside her. "Zelen has begun to have his own opinions, he is no longer a child." Wang Chengai picked up the water cup next to him and took a sip. "But, alas. Okay, you just love to worry, and your children and grandchildren will have their own blessings." Wang Chengai smiled and embraced the woman beside him who had spent nearly 20 years of ups and downs in his arms. Pampered. Besides, what reason can stop a man from setting sail? On the morning of September 20, 2011. After breakfast, Wang Chengai took his son to Jinjiangzukang Gymnasium by car. The hall consists of a gymnasium, training hall, underground training hall, etc., with a total construction area of 17,000 square meters and 4,000 spectator seats. At the same time, this is the main stadium of the Fujian Sungzing men's basketball team. On weekdays, the players of the Fujian men's basketball team and the youth team are training here. Arriving at the entrance of Zukang Gymnasium, Wang Zelin followed his father's familiar path and walked in. When they came to the training hall, there were already more than 10 people standing here. The first person who attracted Wang Zelin's attention was a middle-aged man with a small flat head, and a bright smile on his face. Coach Fan Bin, long time no see. You too, Zelin. I haven't seen you for a year. Not only has I grown taller, but I've also become a lot more handsome. This person is Wang Zelin's head coach Fan Bin in the U17 national youth team. After seeing the person, he also quickly stepped forward, and the handsome young man in front of him gave a warm hug. Lao Lu, long time no see. You too, old Wang, you are very tough. As for his father, Wang Chengai, he went to the other end and had a pleasant exchange with a man who was about 2 meters tall and had thick eyebrows and big eyes. This person is his father's teammate in the Fujian men's basketball team, and the benchmark of the Chinese men's basketball team God of War Lu Yadong. Uncle Lu. After writing a few short sentences, Wang Zelin quickly came to Lu Yadong to say hello. Clap clap clap. Check your body. Yes, this body is indeed a lot stronger the last time we met. It seems that you have practiced in private. Lu Yadong first patted Wang Zelin on the shoulder and the back of his waist, and then a satisfied smile appeared on his face. The rest of the people, Wang Zelin did not dare to neglect, and quickly stepped forward to say hello. There's no way, it's because half of this group of people are acquaintances, and it can even be said that they have grown up watching them. Lu Yadong, the of war of the Chinese men's basketball team, is the only legendary figure in the history of men's basketball who served as the Olympic flag bearer for 2 consecutive terms. Ma Lianbao, the former head coach of the Fujian men's basketball team, who was the U17 national youth team leader and assistant coach at that time, immediately fell in love with Wang Zelin's potential, and made an exception to bring him into the national Qing dynasty. Gong Songlin, the famous Fujian ball king, a generation of national players, spent his entire career playing for the Fujian men's basketball team, and even took his childhood out to play. Xiao Guangbai has been a player of the Fujian men's basketball team since the 1970s. After retiring, he began to teach the Fujian men's basketball team and successively trained the famous national player Lu Yadong and the new national player Gong Songlin. Among the 7 or 8 people around my father, whoever pulls out anyone is a pivotal figure in the Fujian basketball world, and even bigwigs like Xiao Guangbai and Lu Yadong are famous in the basketball world of the Celestial Dynasty. In addition to the great encouragement of their father Wang Chengai, they were able to come here today, and Wang Zelin's own talent is also particularly important. It has been confirmed that this year is the last season of Fujian football king Gong Songlin, and he will retire after this year, but the next leader of the Fujian men's basketball team has not appeared for a long time. Wang Zelin, who was born in a basketball family and showed great talent from a young age, naturally became the focus of this big boss. In the original history, Wang Zelin did not disappoint them. He averaged 20 plus 10 per game when he debuted, and took over the Fujian men's basketball banner from Gong Songlin very smoothly. Okay, it's almost time to reminisce, don't forget that we have business here today. Seeing that the time was almost up, Fan Bin, the current head coach of the Fujian men's basketball team, led a sturdy white man. Come over. Xiao Wang, Tom Bruce, the chief trainer of our club, Mr. Bruce will take you for the corresponding physical examination, and I heard your father say that your ideal is to enter the NBA like Dayo and the UAE, so your fitness will be measured using NBA level specs. Do you have any comments? Of course not. Okay, Bruce, take Xiao Wang down to warm up first. Let's see how his skills are after measuring his body values. Okay, Fan. According to the physical test data of NBA test players, it is generally divided into barefoot height, shoe height, weight, bench press, arms span, in situ touch height, vertical bounce, and so on. About 10 minutes later, Tom Bruce handed the report to Fan Bin with a slightly serious attitude. "Guys, congratulations on meeting a young man with quite a potential." "Oh." Tom Bruce's words immediately aroused the interest of Fan Bin and others. Evaluation player, Wang Zelin naked height, 212 cm wear shoes height, 215 cm weight, 112 kg arm span, 227 cm hand length, 27.9 cm fat content, 9.6% standing touch height, 283 cm 3/4 field sprint, 3.88 seconds jump in place, 32 cm approach and jump, 46 cm 84 kg bench press, 7 times maximum bench press, 115 kg rating, all-time level static body talent. Nonsense, this is the talent of Shaquille O'Neal, which has been proved to be the talent of Shaquille O'Neal. Quite mediocre dynamic physical talent, cough, after all, it is O'Neal in old age, long live Sister Lee. Rating, the static physical talent is impeccable, on the other hand, the dynamic physical talent pulls the hips a lot, but considering that the player is currently only 17 years old, reading www. In theory, UUGonshu.com still has a lot of room for improvement. Of course, this is Tom Bruce's evaluation of Wang Zelin. As a professional basketball trainer from Millikan, he has seen too many basketball talents. Wang Zelin's static talent suddenly made him feel bright, but it was just that bright, and later he said, "Sprinkle water." Zelin's talent. Fan Bin, Liu Yadong, Xiao Guangbai and others were secretly surprised after reading the measurement of Wang Zelin's physical talent. Especially the head coach Fan Bin, there is only one thought in his mind: I want to get this child. With this static physical talent alone, even the proud Yao Ming and Yi Jianlian of the Celestial men's basketball team can't compare. Although it is true that the dynamic body talent is a bit irritating compared to Yi Jianlian, it is not without its brilliance. For example, the maximum bench press of 105 kg. You must know that the average level of bench press of Chinese basketball players is below 100 kg, and it is rare that the bench press can reach more than 100 kg. This sentence is from Gong Luming, director of the sports management department of the Basketball Tube Center, who is in charge of physical testing issues. Yao Ming, who is the number 1 pick in the NBA 02 draft, according to rumors, his bench press is about 160 kg. As for Yi Jianlian, some say it's 120 kg, some say it's 130 kg, but in general, it's definitely over 100 kg. Except for the 2 men in the Xinjiang men's basketball bus, there is basically no bench press for the current Chinese men's basketball players who can reach 100 kg. Because of this, Wang Zelin's maximum bench press of 115 kg is extremely rare. What's even more rare is that he is only 17 years old. I didn't come for nothing today. I said earlier that my son will not disappoint you. When the results of the physical test came out, Wang Chengai was also shocked, but on the surface he still showed a calm look. "Come on you stinky brat, don't sell it when you can get it cheap, you know that you have a good son, right?" Liu Yadong had long noticed the unconcealed hilarity between his old friend's brows, and couldn't help complaining. He. This time, Wang Chengai couldn't hold back any longer, and laughed gleefully. "You are laughing. Look at how frustrating you are. If only this kid were my son." Someone who happened to have a lemon began to curse secretly in his heart. Yao Ming's sudden retirement has had a great impact on the Chinese people and basketball fans around the world. Although it has been almost 2 months, many Chinese fans are still in mourning and confusion. Fortunately, seeing this handsome boy in front of him can push out more than 100 kg of strength, Liu Yadong was also very relieved. The Celestial men's basketball team may have a successor. "Coach, Do we want to continue? Wang Zelin asked Fan Bin's people without speaking for a long time. Oh, okay, the test continues. After completing the most basic physical data test, Wang Zelin then conducted a variety of personal skills tests. Seeing Wang Zelin, who had finished the test and was performing a dunk show there, Fan Bin and the others smiled knowingly and got together to communicate. How is it, Mr. Xiao and Yadong, what do you think about Zelin's performance? Fan Bin did not take the lead in expressing his own opinion, but wanted to hear the opinions of his friends. The basic skills are very solid, and he has the soft feel of the big man and good mid to long range shooting ability. Even if it is compared with Yao Ming or the United Arab League of the same age, it is not inferior. The oldest senior after Xiao Guangbai glanced at the crowd, he put forward his own conclusion with a smile. His position is very clear, he is very optimistic about Wang Zelin. Well, my opinion is the same as the teacher's. Zelin is a child with great potential. His static physical talent is definitely the best I have ever seen in China. Although his dynamic ability is a bit poor, he is only 17 years old after all. Lots of room for growth. Lu Yadong's remarks can be said to have won the hearts of everyone. As we all know, the center is the player with the longest growth period and the latest peak period among the 5 position players on the basketball court. Generally, it is after 22, or even around 25, that a center reaches his peak in the true sense. Even super centers like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, O'Neal, Olajuwon, etc., although they were very capable when they first entered the league, most of them were already around 22 when they entered the league, and they were very successful. Period, it is around 30. The advantage of age makes Wang Zelin gain a lot in the hearts of these bigwigs. Just when everyone was chatting happily, a temperamental beauty with refreshing short hair came to the arena with a tall black player. When the woman approached, Wang Zelin suddenly felt his heart beat faster. What is this situation? Obviously I didn't feel it, why did it jump so fast all of a sudden? But after glancing at his chest inadvertently, Wang Zelin calmed down a lot and lowered his head. It seems that this product is not your own tissue, so I put it away. Mr. Wu, why are you here? As soon as Fan Bin saw that it was Wu Bolan, the team's deputy general manager, he suddenly remembered the team's signing plan for this year. Coach Fan Bin, I just have something good to tell you, the one next to me is. Then Wu Bolan began to introduce the black player beside him. Player, Will McDonald team, undecided age, 32 height, 212 centimeters weight, 105 kilograms arm span, 216 centimeters body hidden talent lower body strength, 48 upper body strength, 51 speed, 42 stamina, 45. Overall score, 53, CBA foreign aid level, rating, this player has no potential to speak of, a mediocre offensive and defensive weak player. His scoring methods mostly rely on three-pointers from the corners on both sides, close-range jumpers, and basket hooks. After taking a cursory glance at his potential competitor's ability attributes, Wang Zelin quickly felt relieved. Although according to the records in the system, Fujian men's basketball team will spend huge sums of money to introduce 3 major foreign aids this season, and center McDonald from the European League will play for Fujian for 3 seasons starting from the current 2011-2012 season. And every season has an excellent performance of about 20 points plus 10 rebounds. In the season he first arrived, he averaged 27.6 points, 9.9 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game. However, when Wang Zelin noticed that McDonald's team ownership was displayed as unscheduled, he immediately smiled. It seems that this guy will be a good stepping stone. If nothing else, McDermott will be Wang Zelin's first frontal competitor in the CBA. Only by suppressing the latter in the frontal confrontation can he occupy the starting center position of the Fujian Sungzing men's basketball team. Except for his speed and mid-range shot, none of this guy's remaining abilities can compare to him. Wang Zelin didn't even know how to lose. Sure enough, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. When Wu Bolan said more and more vigorously, she did not notice that the frown of head coach Fan Bin was getting tighter and tighter, especially when she heard that Fujian Sungzing men's basketball club was going to take 2 games. Fan Bin finally interrupted Wu Bolan's speech when he signed McDonald for $1.2 million. Mr. Wu, it just so happens that I have something to discuss with you. Well, what's the matter? Is such that? After a brief communication, Wu Bolan took over the physical test report that Fan Bin received and looked at it carefully. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect Zelen's talent to be so strong. Wu Bolan, who is only 27 years old this year, has taken up the position of an executive at a young age, which is destined to be something like a wine bag and rice bag. On the contrary, because of her love for basketball, she chose this job, so she can naturally see the weight of this physical test report. Sister Bolan, I also think I'm quite strong. Wang Zelen came up at some point and quietly added a sentence in Wu Bolan's ear. The original body joined the Fujian youth team at the age of 14, and in his impression, the original body and this sister who is not much older than him have a good personal relationship, and even he can vaguely see the original body about the short hair in front of him. A woman's tinge of affection. No misunderstanding, it's just that the pure and young boy has a vague but indescribable and wonderful feeling towards his confidant big sister. After all, what a man is. Now Wang Zelen understands why his little heart was beating so fast just now. His feelings were influenced by the memory of his original body. Otherwise, as an old driver who has driven various brands of cars in his previous life, how could he be tempted by himself? Because his heart has long since been broken into countless pieces. Alas, the hero does not mention Yin Yang. Stinky boy, you still know to tease your sister, do you want to beg for a fight? Wu Bolan is a typical strong woman, and can even be said to be a workaholic, so she has never found a boyfriend, but after all, she is 27 years old, but she has already understood what she should know. Wait, wasn't this kid quite shy when he saw me before? Why are you so open today? After reacting, Wu Bolan suddenly raised his head and looked seriously at the youthful and delicate face in front of him. The smile was still so bright, but it was this look, how could it not be as immature as before, and suddenly it became so sharp and divine, as if to see through himself. Don't stare at people like that, they're still a child, so embarrassed. Wu Bolan was startled by the sudden voice in his ear. When she came back to her senses, she noticed that the people around her were looking at herself and Wang Zelen with strange eyes. What? Dying, Wu Bolan, what the were you doing just now? At this time, Wu Bolan seemed to be at the scene of a large-scale death, and his handsome face soon became flushed. Good boy, I'll make fun of your sister. Why don't you usually find you so tough? It's just that you lacked a pair of discerning eyes before, but you just got it right today. I don't know why, but after seeing this woman again with the depressed mood I had passed over, I unexpectedly got excretion. Can we still have a good chat? I'm here to do the right thing, okay? Why is this kid so weird today? I'm so angry, my chest hurts. Although there were a lot of doubts in his chest, Wu Bolan finally remembered his own business. But when he thought about what happened next, the worries that had been suppressed came to his mind again. According to the original plan, this year's Fujian men's basketball team will introduce 3 foreign players in the off-season, namely Will McDonald, Syed Abbas, and Anthony Robertson. Donald. Not long ago, the headquarters sent itself to the European League to communicate with them, and finally made a lot of money to persuade the other party to go to the Fujian men's basketball team for a trial training, but he actually killed Cheng Yaojin halfway. But this Cheng Yaojin was not only an acquaintance with himself, but also the physical examination report and technical evaluation have completely attracted coach Fan Bin. At this moment, Wu Bolan looked at Wang Zelen with resentment in his eyes. I am too difficult. Sister Bolan, the man you brought is the foreign aide that Fujian men's basketball team is going to sign. Hey, how did you know that? Wu Bolan looked at Wang Zelen in surprise. There has been no official announcement about the introduction of foreign aid. Except for the club's internal staff, outsiders have no way of knowing. Our club has been recruiting since 2009, hoping to achieve better results in the playoffs. As a result, the team's performance last season was not as good as the previous 4 years. If I were the boss, I couldn't help but increase my efforts. Spend a lot of money on foreign aid. After all, he has spent so much money, but he still can't get his grades. Now there is a gambler who is already on the top, and he will not give up until his goal is achieved. Besides, the height of that guy and me should be about 2.1 meters, and his body shape is not bad. If you say that he is not a basketball player, do you believe it? After finishing the speech, Wu Bolan, felt that he seemed to underestimate this little brother before. If my guess is correct, you should be wondering what to do with me and who. Although Wang Zelen already knew the name of this black player, he still had to do what he should do. His name is Will McDonald. Yes, it's this McDonald. Since people are here, we can't neglect them. Why don't we let him have a trial training first? Seeing Wang Zelen's confident face, Wu Bolan frowned slightly. Yes. Soon, McDonald's basic physical data test has been released. Although compared with the average center of the Celestial Dynasty, it can be said to be very good, but compared with Wang Zelen's, it pales in comparison. The coaching staff headed by Fan Bin looked at me, I looked at you, and shook their heads in unison. But the process of going has to continue. McDonald began his skill test. After more than 10 minutes, the entire measurement has been completely completed. Except for the 3 points from the bottom corners on both sides and the relatively skilled close-range attack, the other measurement results of his Nadu are somewhat unsatisfactory, especially the bench press, which has only been completed. 4. Although it is very clear that European insiders like McDonald have the advantage of their fine technique and flexible footwork that they used to have a good range. But again, Donald's performance is much better than most of the centers in the CBA League, but compared with Wang Zelen, it's not good enough. The so-called pearl and jade are in the first place, and the tiles and stones are difficult to hold, nothing more than this. Mr. Wu, you must have a suitable candidate in your heart. Go and tell Mr. Donald. Since Wu Bolan found the person herself, she naturally had to kick the ball back by herself. I see. After Wu Bolan replied indifferently, he walked straight to McDonald. Mr. Donald, I'm sorry, you are not suitable for our team. Oh, the signing issue? I'm ready. Wait, Miss Wu, you mean, I lost the election? Full of joy, McDonald was ready to sign the contract, but he did not expect that what he was waiting for would be such a result. Why? This kind of result is obviously not what McDonald wants to see. She desperately wants the other party to give herself a reasonable explanation. Could this group of Chinese people forget how they begged for themselves when they were in Europe? Mr. Donald, please accept the fact, because our team already has a better choice, so I'm sorry. Seeing that McDonald's face gradually turned gloomy, Wu Bolan continued to add, but please rest assured, you are not worried about the delay. For a small time, we will give a certain amount of financial compensation, and your round-trip air ticket will be paid by our club. A better choice? No, you're not going to tell me that your so-called better choice is that little guy. That's ridiculous enough. The $1 million contract that was about to be handed out flew like this, which made McDonald's mood gradually deteriorate, and soon he noticed Wang Zelen not far away. Yes, this is the measurement result of the two of you, you can see for yourself. McTurnard's words also made Wu Bolan's heart arouse an unnamed karmic fire, but years of cultivation still kept her calm and quiet. Slow language explanation. Haha. Do you think I would believe it was a false report? After receiving the report roughly from Wu Bolan, and seeing the gap between himself and this 17-year-old boy named Wang Zelen, a smile appeared on his face. To be exact, it was an undisguised sneer.